right into it. Oh, you just remind me of yourself so much. It's the way you're going to change things. And the whole thing was a ruse. The thing should always, all of it should come with a question, right? Especially technology that is supposed to improve our health. And when you look at something like testing, you think to yourself, well, but, what's the worst that can go wrong? First of all, you need accuracy. You need to be able to trust it. If you're going to build a marketplace for it, you're going to have to build that trust. In other words, is it going to be user-friendly? Okay, so you can do this blood test with one drop. And there's a lot of questions there. Really? You can do that with one drop? All these, labs across the country are going, really? And then it started happening where you would see, well, yeah, because those big labs, they charge a lot of money. And this is going to be where you could just go to the store and get it yourself. So nothing can go wrong there. And, the thing is because it's like, and I do believe that there should be you have to stay ahead of your health, and through that you either go to the doctor or you can go get blood work now there are lab companies that can do that. But much of the testing has to be doctor ordered and everything else, and we can have discussions about what needs to change there, and should people have more access to blood tests in order to help prevent illness and all that, and stay healthy. I'm all about that discussion. But this was very different, and those discussions, as they should, come with questions too. And this was like, everybody was like, okay, what is going on here? Well, what we didn't see was what was going on behind the scenes, and that was the presentation of the company, the face of the company being Elizabeth Holmes, was very different than what was going on with the lab coats down the hall. And when you look at it and the fallout of it, it's scary, and it makes you wonder who would do something, because the very trust she looks at, you're going to get caught. Well, yeah, the very trust you're looking to build, the reason for that trust is about people's health. She talked about her uncle who sick. She wishes, that there was something, a little girl, she wanted to come up with technology that could detect these illnesses much sooner, so that you could be armed and battle them and get the treatment necessary to keep them alive. And I'm all about that. We all have had the story where we say, if the detection was earlier, then it could have gone different, right? And that's where you build that trust, and that very, touching story. Then you have massive investment, and next thing you know, you have billions, and it's, all right, now what do? Well, we're going to roll it out. Then you have massive pharmaceutical retail companies come out and say, we're on board. But there are a lot of questions behind the scenes. All right. What's going on with the timing of all this? How's this going to roll out? When's it going to roll out? When can we expect this? When can we expect that? There were delays and delays. And that trust started to erode from within. People who were in companies who were invested heavily in this. And it ends up being something that is not great. It is, in fact, the opposite of trustworthy. It's seemingly, again, according to all accounts here, as we go through the prosecution of all this, it was all built on big lies, make it seem like it's successful. And then, where it becomes especially damaging, is people that were and this is customers, who were part of the early testing. And what was going on with that, that blood work, and what did it show, and those tests that came back, and what did they show, and it turns out it wasn't accurate. I mean, it is, you have to be
frankly, deranged to push it that far to the point of you're going to just make it and make it seem real. That goes beyond delusional.
Well,
It's not just delusional.
I believe it was Wall Street Journal the first did. They had a
Yes.
month-long investigation
Yes.
of the company, and again talking to whistleblowers inside the company, and says this is a fraud. It doesn't work. But think about this, because remember, she became a billionaire. The valuation of the company was $9 billion.
Yeah.
Think about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, did she? I mean, you knew you were going to get caught.
Yeah.
You had to know in the back of your mind. You know, it sort of reminds me. Yeah, this all goes back to the thing where right around the holidays, and I can't remember what grade I was in. Maybe I was 6th or 7th grade, and my brother was a year older than me. And Christmas was coming up, and our school always sent out warning cards. If you weren't performing, like halfway through your report card, if you weren't performing in the subject, you get a warning card. Well, the warning cards would always show up in the mail on like December 24th. Well,
Yeah,
we didn't want the warning cards destroying our Christmas. So one Christmas, my brother and I grabbed the mail and burned our warning cards. The only thing is, when the report card came out, there was the note that you received a warning card. But we didn't care. We just wanted to enjoy. And this is what I'm talking about. The childlike mindset that exists, that I'm going to, I know I've done wrong, but I'm going to enjoy myself for this period of time with this particular status and not think of the punishment down the road. By the way, my father did threaten with calling the FBI because he had destroyed U.S. mail.
Right. Pointing out what, how serious it is. Right?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
This is what you. But the fact is, and we paid for it. But it's she. There was some part of her. I can't read her mind, but some part of her knew this was a house of cards and was going to collapse. Or do you get in a delusional mindset? Well, we're not there yet, but maybe we'll get there. Even though you're lying to people about where you're presently at.
Well, no, I get, but along the way, what you're showing as proof is dangerous, when it isn't. You know it isn't proof that it's working, that your technology is working here, and because it's going to have to involve at some point real blood tests, and it did. The grandson of George Shultz, former Secretary of State for Reagan. George Shultz was on the board at Darren. A number of high-profile individuals were. His grandson, one of the whistleblowers, and it ends up being one of those things. And Tyler Shultz, the grandson, talked about it. Basically had to, tell his grandfather, what was going on, what he found, and everything else. But he wasn't the only whistleblower. I mean, something like that is, especially when you get into, what was going on, according to the case, in the lab, and the fact that it's not, and they were seeing the publicity and the face of the company being Elizabeth Holmes. They were seeing all that play out in the media, and they knew it was fake. It wasn't real.
Well, the story from Wall Street Journal that pointed out that they were saying this machine is giving us the results, and they were actually using other machines from other companies to get their accurate blood results, and they were claiming, my God, you knew this was going to end.
It's like ordering something at the drive-thru, and then they step out and they go across the street at another restaurant. They buy a hamburger and bring it back to you. But in this case, you're dealing with people. You're dealing with something where ultimately you're telling people something that, again, they have to put their trust in. Well, this is what the blood work is showing. I think that's why there was the biggest question of the volume. A phlebotomist would have to tell you more about this, but I I know when I go in for my blood work a couple of times a year, or they draw blood, or, you know, if I'm sick for any reason and they want to draw blood.
Yeah, I get it twice a year.
Yeah, and I get mine twice a year, but if I'm sick, recently I was, and they want to, look at the white blood cell count and everything else, sometimes they take more than one tube, and you're going to do it in one drop. And in the methodology too, I mean, even beyond that, like the people managing this in their own, you're going to trust that they can manage it accurately, that influence test, assuming everything else is on the up and up, which of course.
And how does it affect liability for the hospital?
Exactly. Or the pharmaceutical companies, the retail companies that are selling this on their shelves. You create a number of things in just creating a technology that is, would have been great if they could have done it, but still would have come with a lot of questions if it were real. If it had been real, it still would have had its share of concerns even after it hit the shelves at retail. It was always going to have that because of the moving parts. You don't have a phlebotomy involved. You don't have a doctor's office, in charge of the order of the blood work and what's going to happen with the results. And that can be a very, it can be it could be recipe for disaster, or at the worst, but at the very least, a high rate of inaccurate returns. And that's the one thing that you have to get down to, that people need to do. Okay, convenient? Yes. It is cost effective? Okay. Is it accurate? Well, it's free. That's the whole thing. Well, if it had been real, my point, if it had been real, you're still going to have questions for years about accuracy. And so those are the things that, and then, but she was ushered onto stage. She had people pouring money into it. She got a former Secretary of State to be on the board. She got a lot of things done on something that wasn't. Billions. Yeah. Unbelievable. Now over 11 years in prison, unless her team gets it appealed down to less, but wow.
86690 Red Eye. Cold temperatures at water can lead to only one outcome, and ice has no place in a truck's air system. That's why it's crucial to keep your air system moisture-free as the temperatures begin to drop. One of the simplest and most cost-effective ways to keep moisture out of your air system is to change your air dryer desiccant cartridge. This should be changed as recommended by the manufacturer or annually as part of your preventive maintenance routine and preparation for winter. Make sure your air system is in top condition before plunging temperatures put it to the test.
This report is a service of Shell Rotella.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90 Red Eye.
Progressive Commercial Insurance protects truck owners with specialized coverages for heavy trucks. Get a quote in as little as 5 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
As a farmer, I have thousands of more mouths to feed than the average person. What fuels me to get the job done? The smell of the soil and the hum of the combine. What fuels my equipment? Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster, a premium diesel fuel for the most challenging conditions. Better than any formula yet, delivering maximum uptime every time. Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster, fueled by innovation, powered to perform.
All right, we're going to do bench presses and curls for upper body today. Sound good?
I'm just so tired after driving a truck all week. I feel like I don't have enough time.
Have you downloaded the Weigh My Truck app from CapScale? It can save you tons of time when checking your weight.
Speaking of weight, can you spot me?
Your time is money, and nobody knows it better than CapScale. That's why we offer the Weigh My Truck app absolutely free. Now you can complete your entire weigh without ever leaving your truck. You can see your weights on your mobile device, and scale tickets are automatically emailed to you. Best of all, weighing with CatScale means you're backed by the CatScale Guarantee. Remember, time is money, so get weighed and get going with the Weigh My Truck app. Visit WeighMyTruck.com to find out more about how this app can revolutionize how you weigh your truck. That's WeighMyTruck.com.
Follow The Trucker on social media for the latest trucking news. Follow us on Facebook at The Trucker Newspaper, on Twitter at Trucker Talk, or on Instagram at The Trucker Media. Join The Trucker, along with truckers across the nation, to keep up with resources you need to succeed in the industry. Visit us on the web at thetrucker.com or pick up a free copy of our newspaper at one of almost 400 truck stops across the country. That's thetrucker.com.
Sponsored by the Trucker Media Group.
Do you suffer from any type of chronic neck or back pain? Whether it's a bulging or herniated disc, sciatica, spinal stenosis, or even bone-on-bone arthritis. You've probably tried most doctors and get little relief, or are told dangerous medications and surgeries are your only option. Dr. John Filippini, the Danville Disc Doctor, has more options for your treatment than ever before. With state-of-the-art equipment and an integrated medical office, you can have 80 to 100% relief within a few treatments to a couple of months. Dr. Filippini has helped thousands of patients, but he's never seen such great results as he has in the last couple of years. This is due to individualized treatment programs that fit each patient's needs and budget. Depending on the treatment, insurance may cover some or even all of your program. Call Dr. Filippini at 925-999-4067 to get in on his $39 exam special, or visit DanvilleDiscDoctor.com for more information. That's 925-999-4067 or DanvilleDiscDoctor.com.
KSFO, Sean here. The American economy is a disaster. Tell me what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are doing to make you and your families more prosperous, to provide more opportunity for people.
Another Democrat, President Truman, used to have that sign on his desk, "The buck stops here." What do our current Dem leaders have to say?
The 41-year high in inflation speaks for itself.
Hannity, News at 3 on your radio and smart speaker at 560 KSFO.
You know, I grew up hearing that women are bad with money. But like many of you, I spent years paying bills, managing checking accounts, and taking care of my family. So, turns out women are pretty good with money after all. And now, I'm taking control of my financial future by saving for retirement. It's never too late to start, and there's a great website to help you. Check out WeSaySaveIt.org and jumpstart your retirement savings on your budget and your timeline. That's WeSaySaveIt.org. Brought to you by AERP and the Ad Council.